Oh, hello. I am live. I'm not sure what's happening because I'm not on live on the other platform, but give me 2 seconds. I hope everybody is well. Hello and welcome to this broadcast. So, if you're watching for the first time, my name is Daniela Bleckner. I am an author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing, and we transform diverse writers into successful published authors. Now, I'm really excited about this interview that I'm going to be conducting today. But first of all, if you're new to this channel or new to this show, what is it about and why on earth is it called Between the Covers? Well, Between the Covers is a show that actually examines between the covers of what it takes to actually be an author. So often we look at books and we have bookshelves full of books, but we have no idea about what it takes to actually create, publish, distribute, and the blood, sweat, and tears that goes in behind the author journey. Hey there, Lee. If you're watching, please say hello, tap the screen, share this out. If you find this of worth and value, that would be absolutely amazing. And if you want to give me some stars on Facebook, go ahead. I will not complain. Hey, Yashiba. So, this show is really about shedding light on what goes on between the covers of the author journey. Sometimes I speak to experts within the publishing field for you to really get a sense of that journey at a deeper level. It's an interactive show, so if you have any questions for myself or my guests, throw them up. I can even bring you into the broadcast if you so wish. But who am I? My name is Daniela Bleckner, author, book journey mentor, and founder of Conscious Dreams Publishing. And we work with authors from all over the world to help them to get the powerful messages and stories out there in the form of professional books. On the bookshelf behind me here are just some of the 150 plus books that we have published over the last 6 years. I'm absolutely passionate about providing a platform for unseen, unheard authors so they can have their voices heard and stories shared so they can educate, empower, and inspire for generations to come. I'm really excited to tell you about an event that we've got going on. If you have been following me on social media, hopefully you've been seeing this popping up everywhere. It's called Black Authors on the Rise, and it's on Saturday, the 15th of October. Very excited about it because the last time we had an in-person event was in 2019 for Black Authors on the Rise. And we've done it for the last 2 years online. So there are a lot of authors who I've been working with for a sustained period of time, but haven't actually met in the flesh. And it's a chance for them to meet each other as well. It's also a chance for you to come down, speak to the authors, network, support them, get their books. It's Christmas coming up. We've got a wealth of different authors. We've got lots of children's authors, especially coming down on Saturday the 15th. So children's books are there galore. And if you know me, I'm also a teacher, English teacher, as well as a publisher. So I'm passionate about encouraging young people to read. It's so important. But yeah, there'll be author talks. There's going to be some music. One of our authors, Janessa Kwa, who's also a spoken word artist, will not only be doing some poetry, but she's also an award-winning West End singer. So she's going to be, and a Shaka Khan tribute act. So she's going to be giving us some vibes on the stage as well. So I'm really looking forward to that, and hope you are too. On top of that, we have a chef. You can follow him on Instagram and on Facebook under Unruly Chef, Unruley. He is going to be cooking up a storm in that kitchen. There's going to be some Caribbean dishes, and I'm telling you, it looks amazing. He's going to be showing the menu very soon. So I'm very excited about that. So please come down. It is a free event, but you can donate a £5 towards the event. And that goes towards, first of all, putting on the event, me being able to do free storytelling workshops to young people, which is something I feel very passionate about. And also, we are donating some of the proceeds to Global Girl Project. Global help. Global Girl Project is a non-profit organization set up by Julia Lynch, who is also one of our authors. They go into remote parts of villages and work with young girls, training them up in one of their gifts and talents and a skill. And not only do they help train them up in that skill, but the young girls then go off within the community and teach other people in their community that skill. So it's about imparting knowledge and giving them the tools to actually grow and expand themselves. She also published a book with us, which charts 8 of the stories of 8 of the girls who live in remote parts of the world, just to give them a voice and a space to have their voices heard, which is something that's so important. So some of the proceeds of buying a ticket will go towards that as well. So I can see there's quite a lot of people on, so please do say hello, tap the screen, show us some love. If you find this of worth and value, please do share this out to your network. Hey Charlene, nice to see you. I was on Charlene's show last night on Instagram. Shout out Charlene Fontaine. So I'm going to be introducing my awesome and amazing guest any second now. I'm just trying to invite her on. Now you see it from the other side, Charlene. You see me trying to invite people on. So I'm going to be interviewing today the awesome and amazing Enomwoyi Damali. She has published 3 books with us so far. She has a 6-book series, Nzingha and Amber Class. The last book she published with us is called Nzingha and Identity. Look at that absolutely beautiful cover. Illustrated by one of our illustrators, Bryony Dick. I'm going to read a little bit about Enomwoyi, so you feel like you know her by the time she comes on. Enomwoyi grew up with her parents who are very proud of their Trinidadian heritage, and they instilled that same sense of pride in her. She describes herself as a proud Trini to the bone who is vegan too. For over 30 years, she has worked as an educational psychologist in South London boroughs, helping children to be the best that they can be. Enomwoyi has published 3 books so far in her series of beautifully illustrated books about Nzingha and her diverse group of friends in Amber Class. She has written them to inspire children to develop important skills and qualities that will help them in life. Enomwoyi lives in South London and loves spending time with her husband, 4 children and 2 grandchildren, and when she's not baking, dancing, playing the steel pans and traveling, she loves looking out for new ideas for her children's picture books. Shall we meet Enomwoyi? I think we should. So I'm going to bring you on to the broadcast, Enomwoyi. I'm the same problem you did, Charlene. For some reason, are you watching me or are you there on Instagram? Because I can't quite see you. I'm inviting you on onto Instagram. Yay! And I'm inviting you. So just remember to mute your computer. Don't worry, don't run away. She's just muting her computer, no worries. Okay, great. Hey, so we're live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, we're everywhere. So, hello, Enomwoyi. Lovely to see you.
Hi. I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me. And although I can't see anybody out there, thank you for joining. And it's just lovely to have you virtually because I can't see you. So welcome.
All right, no problem. So as comments come in, I will be reading them out and highlighting them. Anyway, so you have published 3 books with us now. I'm going to see your own t-shirt of your second book, Nzingha and Identity. Absolutely love that. Tell us a little bit about the Nzingha series and what inspired you to write them.
So I wrote my first book just after a sad event in my life. So my dad had passed away in Trinidad, and as I was in Trinidad preparing for the funeral, I was thinking to myself, wow, how do I explain this event to my granddaughter or to other children, this sad thing that's happened? Excuse me 1 minute, the charger's in my bedroom. And in the next breath, I thought to myself, right, what you do, girl, is you write a book. You write a book because books are a tool for us to explain events to children, help them understand situations in life, help them to learn how to manage their feelings, how to understand their feelings, and so on. So there I was in Trinidad, and I wrote a book about loss and bereavement. And it actually starts with a class teacher, Mrs. Adisa, talking about the death of the school rabbit, because I thought that might be kind of a nice, gentle way into discussing the topic. So Mrs. Adisa in the story she tells the children that their class rabbit or their school rabbit, Domino, has died. And then, following a discussion with the children about how they feel and their memories of Domino, they then started to talk about people in their own lives who had died. So, having written the story, that kind of was the easy part. The next part was, what do you do with it? Because I wanted the messages to be shared with other children. And that's where the beginning of my relationship with Danny and publishing started. In fact, it wasn't immediately then. I went down the self-publishing route, first of all, and that was a long and hard journey. And several years after that, I met up with Danny, and Danny then published my first book, Nzingha and Saying Goodbye. So that's how it all started about 6 or 7 years ago.
Amazing. Okay, I love the fact that you based it on Nzingha, as it's called here, and the fact that you raised many, many important topics, social things that are discussed in a very child-friendly way, in a nurturing environment in the classroom, love. I'd love to have teaching like Mrs. Adisa. But tell us a little about Nzingha and what actually inspired you to create the character Nzingha for this whole series.
Mm-hmm. When I think back to the books that I loved to read as a child, and actually I preferred reading to playing with dolls or playing with tea sets or anything like that. It was reading that was my passion. But when I think back to the books that I loved as a child, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the Adventure series, the Famous Five, it occurred to me that there was something missing in all of those stories. And the thing that was missing was nobody in those stories looked like me. Nobody had a lifestyle like mine. Nobody had a history like mine in those books. And as I got older, particularly into adulthood, I decided that there was something that didn't fit well with me with that situation. I believe that books are like a mirror. When you hold up a mirror, what do you see? You see yourself. You don't want to look in the mirror and see somebody else. You see yourself, and what you want is a positive reflection of yourself. So when I hold up a book, I want to see some people that look like me, at least. So imagine day after day, you picking up books as a child, and all you're seeing is faces that don't look like you, a culture that doesn't belong to you, a history that isn't yours. Over time, subconsciously, I believe that affects a child's self-esteem, or can do, their confidence, their sense of, I can be anything I want to be, I can aspire to anything I want to be. So when it came to me writing my stories, I was determined that the stories would contain a lead character who looked like me, so with a brown skin. I know from research, and I don't think this has changed now, that about 7% of lead characters in children's stories are children of, there's so much terminology, isn't there? With a brown skin or a black face, or some people call it black minority ethnic, but somebody who's not white. Only 7%. And actually that was an increase, because years before that, it was only 1%. It's heading in the right direction, but we've got a long way to go. So when I was writing, I said to myself, no, I need a central character who has a lovely, beautiful brown skin. And because I have locks, and I'm very proud of my locks, I also wanted a character who had locks. So the idea is that you look at these books, and as Danny says, there are 3 of them. When any child picks up those books, and they happen to be a child with a brown skin or locks, or they're not, the white child, they see somebody that it's reflected back at them as if it was a mirror. And that gives that child some sense of, I deserve to be in the books. I have a place, I have a purpose, I have a history, I have value, I have worth. So if anything comes out of these books, the one thing that I do want is for children to look at the books and feel good about themselves, whoever they are. And actually, Nzingha is the lead character, But every book talks about her in her little class of friends. Now, I live in South London. You go to any school around here, and the class is full of a diverse range of children. So Nzinga's friends are mixed heritage, Asian and white, Jamaican heritage, a Chinese little girl called Zhaolian, who she's a wheelchair user, gifted piano player. So the message there for children who might have a disability, and for those that don't, that if you have a disability, you can still achieve, you can still be great at whatever you choose to be. So the books are all about diversity, but also about positive representation for children of color. That's one way of phrasing it. Children with brown skin or dark skin, black skin, and who are non the traditional vision that you often see even now. My dream, honestly, is to go into a library or a school and literally be tripping over books that have children with books with children that represent positive images for our little people, whether they're black
100%.
or
I
white.
know that we're both singing off the same hymn sheet there. We spoke about this yesterday.
100%.
I grew up exactly loving very similar books. Famous Five, Line the Witch of the Wardrobe, Roald Dahl book, and I love the adventure of them, but I can never see a character look like me white, which is why this is so important. I really love the fact that she has dreadlocks too, because we don't see that very often at all, especially when we do see. I actually typed in the internet the other day, actually. I was looking for an image
of
a young black boy with dreads reading a book. Because I had an experience at school where I encouraged one of the young people to read, and I wanted to find an image that looked like him. And I typed in young black boy school reading a book, and I had lots of articles. Loads of articles come up about black boys being excluded from school because of their dreadlocks and asked to cut it. I didn't even ask to look for that, but that's what was coming up. So it's negative things straight away, which really is the opposite of perpetuating this positive identity. So I think this is really, really. Oh, I've taken you out. Sorry. I think this is really, really important and beautiful. So moving on to Nzingha and Identity, you say that Nzingha has a wide range of different friends from different backgrounds, different abilities, and I think that was a really special part of the book, and that message comes across. Why do you think that message is so important, and how do you think children feel reading a book like this?
Well, one of the first reasons that I did that one is schools are so important to children. I mean, some children are homeschooled, but for those that go to school, the school has a huge responsibility, I feel, to help children develop in a holistic way. So it's not just about the 3 hours reading, writing, and maths, but they have a duty, I feel, a moral duty, ethical duty to help our children develop into rounded, balanced, positive, confident young people. And teachers have quite a tight curriculum. There's so much that they have to cover, and there's not always enough time to focus on the other areas of children's development. So these books are what I hope will be a resource for schools to help children develop in many, many different ways. I've actually written 18 stories altogether. 3 have been published so far, and there are another 3 to be published with Danny. And then that leaves, what's 18 take away 6? My maths is hopeless. 12?
12.
12, that's right. Okay, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. I'm good at writing, but maths was never my forte. Yeah, so there's another 12. And
just for a second there, Jenny, feedback. Is this any better? I've put some earphones in. Can you let me know if this sound is any better? Thanks for letting us know.
Uh-huh. Is it me that my end?
Both of our voices, she said.
Okay.
If you could just let us know, that would be really helpful. Thank you. It's not better, you saying? Or the echo is not there, I'm sure. It's me, so
It's
I'm
me,
echoing.
so I'm echoing. Okay.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Okay.
Okay.
Not sure what to do.
Not sure what to do.
You want me to carry on while you try
Yeah,
and
it's
sort
your
it out
your
your end?
laptop
Yeah.
Your
definitely on
computer's
mute,
definitely
isn't
on
it?
mute, isn't it?
Just double checking.
Just double checking.
I did put it on mute. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So you want me to carry on?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see where I was up to.
Okay.
I was
So you've got
talking
12,
about
12 left.
12 left. Oh yes, that's
You
right.
said
12. I
12
was
left.
doing the maths, wasn't I? I was blown away by my ability to do 18 minus 6. Imagine. Anyhow, 12 books. Every single book focuses on a different aspect of children's personal development. So things that schools, I think, have a role to help children develop, but they don't always have the time. So you've heard about the first one, which was Nzingha and Saying Goodbye, Loss and Bereavement. And then the second one was about the value of kindness to each other. This one, actually, I wrote when, I don't know if people remember, Caroline Flack took her life. We believe one of the factors was as a result of the trolling and the negative comments that she received on social media. I think there were other issues as well. And I sat and I thought, my goodness, if we could just be kind to each other, just be kind, you know, what a different world this would be. So this one was written to help children think about how the little acts of kindness can make a big difference to people. And then in Nzingha and Identity, which I think was the one that you were talking about, is because I believe it is important for all of us to have a sense of who we are. And who we are is not a straightforward question, because it's tied up in our strengths, in our abilities, in our history, in our culture, in our appearance, in our gender, etc., etc., etc. So it's helping the children to understand what identity means for them. It's personal for them. And ultimately, that they should be proud of whoever they are, whatever they look like, whatever their abilities are, whatever they choose to do. So by the end of it, the children do a lovely exercise in class where they are reading and writing and drawing and singing about their own identity. So that's Nzingha and Identity. And at the front, Nzingha has written on little labels all the things that are important to her in terms of her identity. She says, hello, I'm confident, I'm smart, I'm Nzingha, I'm a girl, etc., etc.
Lovely, thank you. So Janine says kindness is key. Janine, do let us know if it sounds better.
100%.
And I
agree.
And she says the book cover is pretty, 100%. Beautiful, beautiful book covers. I love them. R.I.P. Caroline Flack. Yes, exactly. She was one of a kind. Right, lovely comments there. Oh. Yeshiva says, loving meeting you virtually and all that you're doing. Well, you're going to be meeting each other at Black Authors on the Rise on the 15th, so that's going to be fantastic.
Great. See you then. You'll recognize me. I'll have the same T-shirt on.
Yeah.
And the same earrings. Can I just talk about the earrings? I went to a cultural event, and what did I see on the jewelry store but a pair of earrings that says Nzingha? And there was just one pair left, so of course I had to buy them.
Oh, they're lovely. Absolutely love them. Gorgeous. Well, so there you go, Yeshiva. That's how you'll recognise Enomwoyi when you come. Yeshiva's going to be dressed up as Grandma Wazzo, who's one of the characters from the book. So she'll be wearing the grey wig and the gear. So I'm looking forward to that. Janine says my 9-year-old goddaughter needs these books. Wow. Where can people get hold of your book?
They are available in 3 places. So you can contact me directly. And I'll maybe post or let you have the contact detail from me. If you do it through me, I would be able to sign your book for you, which is something. Or you can get them from an independent distributor called This Is Book Love. And so the person that runs that organization, Samantha, she is passionate, like Daniela or Danny, of promoting authors of color who are writing a diverse range of materials. So this is Book Love, is the second place. And then the third place is Amazon.
And all good retailers. So, I mean, what we're trying to say really, when you buy directly from authors, it's so much better. I mean, a lot of readers probably don't know that, because Amazon is the biggest platform to get books, but it's those swings and roundabouts. You know, as an author, you haven't got the capacity to send out thousands of books. But this is why events like Black Authors on the Rise are so important, or when, you know, you're going into schools, actually buying directly off the author at events, at exhibitions, at schools, at book launches, rather than buying them on Amazon. So yeah, you can buy it through Enomwoyi. This is Book Love by Samantha Williams, or through any all good retailer. Yeshiva says, hey, Janine's over on Instagram at the same time. Hello. Hey, Candy, I think your son would love these books, the Nzingha series. We've got to meet up and I'll bring some books down. Yeshiva says, another Trini loving author who just loved books, reviews, and authors. There you go. This, I've got my Jamaican earrings on, representing. I thought you'd have your Trini earrings on.
We're all, at the end of the day, we're all one, but we're still proud of, you know.
Right. So tell us about Nzingha and why the name Nzingha, where it comes from, for those who don't know.
Yeah. It's so funny that name came to me immediately. I didn't do any research like, oh, what should I call the character? I just immediately fell on the name because I knew of Queen Nzingha, who ruled in Angola many centuries ago. And she was a strong, powerful, confident, articulate, multilingual leader who stood up to the Western world, to the enslavers. And I thought, that's the name I want, because I want my little Nzingha. She might be little, but I wanted her to be strong and powerful and confident. All the things that Queen Nzingha actually was in real life. So that is the story of the name. I don't actually know what the name Nzingha means. I must look that up. I just know that she's named after, you know, the name is after a very, very powerful leader who, you imagined, you know, centuries ago, to be able to stand as a military leader as a woman would have been quite something, and something that, you know, is good perhaps for all of us females to aspire to.
Well, the meaning of the name, it means beautiful and brave. And I think that suits your character very well.
That is my Nzingha, beautiful and brave.
There you go.
And that's what I'd like to. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So going back to identity, so that a few questions are in there, and you mentioned identity is not just about, you know, your background, or your race, or your religion, or you're told by your parents you are born into, but it's about who you are as an individual, your strengths, your personality, your resilience, your all of these things. And I love the fact that actually Nzingha and her name also become part of our identity, because she is beautiful and brave in terms of her character. How would you approach speaking with young people about identity and encouraging that conversation? Do you think it's spoken about enough in schools in that way?
Referring back to one of the other responses that I made, the answer is a categorical no. Schools are busy places. Teachers are doing the best that they can to cover the basic curriculum. If you're lucky, you'll get PHSE, personal, social and health education, where a teacher or an educator might spend some time thinking with children about their identity. But generally, I think there's an assumption that children just grow into their identity without much thought about it or conversation about it. And we can shape our children. We can help them develop their identity by focusing on it. So actually on Saturday, I'm doing a workshop with some children, and it's based on the last book. And I'm going to start with an activity. Stand up and finish this sentence. I am. And ask the children to stand up and finish that sentence. And then we'll go round several times that by the end, they've come up with 4 or 5 different words to describe themselves. And then we'll talk about the words that they used, how perhaps for many of them when they start, they'll say, I am probably a girl or a boy, or they might say, I am, and think about their name. But they wouldn't necessarily talk about their personal qualities that they have, or their aspirations, or their heritage, or their history. So by the end of the workshop, I want them to embrace all aspects of their identity and go out of my workshop singing and dancing because they're proud of who they are.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. And being a teacher, I know what it's like. You know, teachers at schools are understaffed. Teachers are under pressure. So time poor. It's a lot of hard work. And it's part of the reason why I love English. Teaching English is you can almost kind of go in there and be a little bit of a maverick and twist things a little bit and be creative in what you do. So I've run quite a few. Hey there, Kidleo Mag. Hey there, Siobhan. There's a specific poem that I've done with young people around identity and modeled my own identity around, get them thinking about their identity. So I think it's important to try and weave in these things into different subjects in any way possible. Drama's another way of being able to explore identity as well. And I think it's something that's really important. So I don't think it's discussed enough. And as you said, it's assumed that children know who they are. Another thing there that you mentioned in Nzingha about being a strong, proud warrior. I remember working in a school once, and my kids said that Black History Month was about slavery. And I said, hold on a second. This is a black girl. No. Slavery interrupted our history. There was so much before, so much rich history before this happened. This was a tiny little interruption, very detrimental interruption. And I think part of that identity is actually knowing that history way before slavery and having those positive role models like Nzingha to look up to as well. So I think it's really important too.
Yeah, I think that's so right. What we know about history is so tiny, or what we've taught about history is so tiny when you think about it. And there's centuries, I don't know what's bigger than a century, but I mean, it's thousands and thousands of years before that period that we've come to know as enslavement that we don't talk about enough. And it's those sorts of conversations that with children that help them to develop a positive sense of identity, but also bringing history into the present day, because we have to think about where we are now and where we're going next. Because I'm not sure how much talking about the past, and we need to do that, is necessarily going to help us move forward. So we need to know what happened yesterday and last year and last century and last millennia. We also need to think about where are we now? What sort of people, what do we want to be? What sort of world do we want to live in? And how are we going to get there? And children are not going to do that by themselves. It's our responsibility as parents and as educators to help them. And I love the point you made about being creative in the curriculum, because there's lots of work going on at the moment about decolonizing the curriculum and using the curriculum that we've got in a creative way and an honest and truthful way, bringing truth to our children. So I have a friend, and she's written an amazing book called Shakespeare, and she takes Shakespearean, is that word? Monologues, and she has a twist on them. So the first one that she did was, I think, from Macbeth. Is this something before me? I didn't
the dagger I see before me.
But she's changed it. That's the one. Yeah. And she's changed it to is this a patty before me? So it's so funny and so clever. And I just think for children who may not be as engaged with Shakespeare and Chaucer and all these things, what a wonderful way to help them embrace literature, engage literature in a way that's meaningful for them and relevant for them. But also, what about the hundreds and thousands of authors of colour, past and present, including little children who are writing now, that we should be promoting in our curriculum as well?
100%. Thank you. Janine says, I am statement exercise is good for children to do, 100%. But I believe whatever you place after I am literally becomes your reality. I agree. More should be done in schools, 100%. That's Jasmine, daughter of Adonai. Hello, Africans Travel. Nice to meet you. Okay, so wow, we are running out of time. So tell us, what is next for you in Norway?
What is next for me? Oh my goodness! In terms of my books or my life? Oh wow! I work full time. I work as an educational psychologist, and it's a really busy job. I've become a manager in the last year, it's been lovely for me career wise. It's taking up quite a lot of my time in the daytime. So unfortunately, at the moment, writing has to fit around it. But writing does fit around it. I make it fit around it, just as I do my Zumba and my what else do I do? Well, anyway, my writing and my cooking and my traveling. That's right. I fit my writing around it because I'm passionate. And is it interesting when you're motivated to do something, you find the time? Ask me to find time to do ironing. Ask me to sit down and write ask me to sit down and write a book, and I'm too happy to do that. So next steps in terms of writing, like I said, I've got another 12 that are written, and it's to work with Danny to choose the next one and think about when we're going to start working on that. But I can't see an end to Nzingha, because if you think of the average person living, I don't know, what is the average lifespan now? 70 something?
80, isn't it?
80, is it 80? Oh, yeah. Well, let's hope it's 90 and 100 by the time it gets to us, Danny. But the stages people go through are many and varied. So Nzingha, if she lives to 70, she's going to go through quite a few stages in her life. So I have had people say to me, you need to write a book about Nzingha as a teenager and all the things that teenagers have to. You have to go through, you have to write a book about Nzingha entering relationships in her life, becoming a girlfriend and so on. So I can't see an end to it. Somebody recently said to me, Enomwoyi, can you write a book about children with disabilities, but not the children with disabilities, but their siblings, who sometimes get forgotten, not consciously or deliberately, but so much attention is on the child with a disability that the siblings get. So there's no end to where it's going.
There's so many things you can explore, and I'm sure that within your job you must be inspired all the time, because you get to see in real time, you know, what's happening, what's going on, what needs to be addressed.
Absolutely. And the job, you see, a lot of people think educational psychology is about assessing children for their cognition, their thinking skills, and so on. It's so much more than that. We are interested in self-esteem, in social relationships, in identity. We're doing so much work in educational psychology now on anti-racism and that sort of work. So all of that work fits beautifully with the books that I've been writing.
Well, in one way, we certainly need more credibility in the education system, in the social care system, in any system to do with young people making change. So thank you so much for your time, and please do check out Enomwoyi's books, Nzingha and Amber Class series, Nzingha and Saying Goodbye, Nzingha and Being Kind, and Nzingha and Identity. You can connect with Enomwoyi. There you go, she's got all three. You can connect with Enomwoyi, she's tagged in on Nzingha Life on Instagram and Enomwoyi Damali on Facebook.
No, not yet. That's another thing that I need to work on. Yeah.
Amazing. If you want to meet Enomwoyi in person, how could you not? Come down to Black Authors on the Rise, Saturday the 15th of October, 11 till 4 o'clock, and get to meet 18 of our 17 or 18, can't remember now, of our other authors as well. I'm really excited about it. So tune in next week, where we'll be interviewing the awesome and amazing. His name is John Cheatham, based in America. He's got a book called Keeping Doo-Wop Alive. I'm going to read just a little bit about him. One man's story of strength, stamina, and survival as an international entertainer. His story is phenomenal. He is one of the 84, I think, or 82, and still performing. Can you believe it? He's still performing. He's in the UK at the moment, still performing. He's been in 5 different singing bands. He was there. It was practically like the grandfather of doo-wop. And his experiences of being in the music industry are just really interesting. He's gone through so many different political climates, from South Africa to Belfast to the UK. He's also seen a lot of, the fast life, drugs, sex, women, all of that sort of stuff. But also the beautiful side of music as well. And let us night and the clips. So tune in and have a chat with him. All right. Take care. See you next week. 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST. I've been Daniela Beckler, speaking with awesome and amazing
Enomwoyi Damali.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. All right. I'm just going to share this. All right. Take care. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
7 p.m. GMT, EST. I've been Daniela Beckler, speaking with awesome and amazing. Bye. Oh God. Bye.
Brilliant. That's done.
Okay, I'm just sharing something now.
Thanks for your support, Kai. Just sitting there was nice to have you there.
Is that still live?
Oh, Danny?
Yeah. Bear with me 2 minutes.
Oh,
2
hold
minutes.
on. Hello?
I'm here. Just bear with me. I'm just uploading it on Instagram.
So, everything okay?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, I'm
We're
just
not
uploading
live.
it on Instagram, but just bear with me for 2 seconds. Oh, we're
No
still
problem.
live. Oh,
Are we?
oh, hold on. End broadcast. I forgot to end broadcast.